So right now I'm doing some overnight preparations for the cake that I'm going to show you guys me baking tomorrow. So all we need to do is we just need to put some butter in this bowl so that it, softens overnight. So we're not faced with hard butter. So we need 125 grams of butter. So I'm going to get out the scale and put the bowl onto it, then zero it, and then we'll get out 125 grams. About 55 grams. $77 grams. Okay, and 125 grams. Yes. So, and then we'll just cover it with this beeswax wrap. And then we just leave it here overnight, and the rest is tomorrow. Okay, so it is the next day and we're going to start making the cake. So, first thing you do, you preheat your oven to 180 degrees, then turn it on. Next thing you do is you grease your cake pan or tin or whatever you use with butter, and then put baking paper on first, then grease it, not the other way around. I've already done that. See, evenly spread out butter. So here we've got the butter from last night. Of course, it is not going to be completely soft the next day, as we're in autumn right now. So what we need to do is we just need to soften it, and then one thing you could do that is by putting it in a bath of hot water. So now, while we're doing that, you also need to prepare the sugar, and that's going to help take away any of the melting liquid, if there is any. So we're going to get our cup measures. Now with this, because we're doing half of what the recipe says. The recipe says 3/4 of cup of caster sugar. So do anywhere from 1/4 to 1/2, pretty much. So yeah, and takes out of the bath, and then we're softening it. Here go. We're just going to add the first cup, and what we're going to try and do is we're just going to let the sugar dissolve with some of the liquid as well, while also softening up the butter, because you want to get it to a nice creamy stage. Otherwise, if it's not soft enough, it won't work. So you see like how the sugar's just getting rid of all the liquid stuff, and now we're like kind of mashing up the butter a bit. So now we're going to add another 1/4 cup of sugar. Just add it like this. And I use caster sugar for this recipe. So the butter should be looking something like this. It has to be pale and creamy. So it's looking pretty good there. So while it's like that, I'm going to add the vanilla essence now. So add up like 1/2 teaspoon to a full teaspoon. smells really good. So we're just going to add about half to a full teaspoon. And then, yep, put it in there. And then continue mixing, pretty much. Although you can use an electric mixer for this, but we don't have an electric mixer here, so just use a wooden spoon like this to mix everything together. And you want to also make sure that you're getting the edges as well. Make sure they're all getting into the big buttery pile. So, once it's beginning to look like that, you get an egg. If you're doing a full cake, then use 2 eggs. But if you're doing a smaller cake, then just use 1. So, you know, use eggs, crack them in, put the egg in, and then you just mix it. You just mix it all around in the buttery mixture. It is really crucial that you get the butter mixture nice and creamy before adding the egg, because otherwise once you add the egg there's really no returning back, and then even if you try to soften it, like, it won't work, because then it will just cook the egg. So now we're going to add the flour, and I just use good old 4 Roses flour. And then put it in. So then start gently mixing. And then start adding the milk. So we'll need 1/3 of a cup, but don't pour it in all at once. And then that's what the liquid will be to, you know, start moisturising it up a bit and getting it wet, and it's going to start to feel really thick. So then you'll know that it's doing its thing. Okay, so now it is time to spoon the mixture into the cake pan. So now what you want to do is you want to, I guess, spread it evenly. So we're going to use this little spatula thingy, and then just kind of just get it evenly spaced and make it level as well. So now it's pretty evenly spaced, or as spaced as it's going to get in this square tin. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to put it in the oven. Bake for around 40 to 45 minutes, whatever works for you. I'll check it after like 30 minutes just to be on the safe side so it doesn't overcook. So I'll set a timer for 30 minutes and then we'll check on it in 30 minutes. Okay, so it's been about 25 minutes, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the cake out to test it. This is what it's looking like so far. It's looking pretty good. There is a crack over here, but I'm not a professional baker, so that was always going to happen. I don't make cakes very often. So, the way to test it, get a chopstick and just jab a hole in it and then pull it out. If it comes out clear, it is ready. However, there are some crumbs on it, so that means it's not quite ready, but it will be very soon. So all we need to do is just put it back in the oven, and I can tell it's very close to being ready. So we're going to give it another 5 more minutes. So just get a chopstick, stick it in. Yep, that is ready. So what we have to do next is put the cake on this wire rack. Here is the square cake that's a little bit, I don't know, cracked and stuff, but that was bound to happen anyway. But I guess if you're better at baking than I am and have a better cake tin, then your cake will probably be more successful than mine. So now all that's left to do is to wait for it to cool down so I can ice it, because then otherwise when we ice it, it is just going to be a disaster if you put it on while warm, obviously. So I'll let it cool for a couple of hours. Hello, welcome back. It is the next day. So this is what my cake's looking like. I put it in a container overnight so that it didn't go stale. But yeah, this is what it looks like, and today we're going to ice it. So, first thing we need to do is get some icing sugar into this bowl. So I'm using pure icing sugar. Now, if you have a bigger cake, I would recommend sifting it. But if you've got a small cake like me, and with icing sugar that's literally just been bought, then you don't really need to sift it. You can if you want, not necessarily. And of course, if you have some old icing sugar that's like really old, definitely sift it to get all those lumps out as well. Pour it in. Okay, that's looking pretty good. So here we've got some butter now. This butter, I've done the hot water technique, so we're just going to add it in and then start stirring it through the icing sugar. You only need about 15 grams of it, depending on how big your cake is. Now we need to add the water and add up to 1 to 2 tablespoons of it, depending on the size of your cake and depending on how dry the icing sugar is as well. So, just gonna add it now and then slowly stir it. It really does not need much. Really doesn't need much, so just be sure to not add too much, otherwise it'll just be a really runny icing, but also add enough so that it's got a really good consistency. See, look how it's just turned from sugar to just a good mixture. Also be sure that the butter's getting in there as well. Add a little more if necessary, but this is good. This is good. So now the next thing we do is we add up from half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of vanilla essence. And then just stir it. Okay, so it's at a really good consistency right now. We've got that. So it's looking pretty good. So now it is ready to be iced. So I'm going to get this and use this to help us spread it over. So we're just going to try and spoon it over our cake. Okay, and then we can spread it over. This. Be sure to cover it as much as you can, of course, without letting it overflow. That's why you need a good amount of icing sugar, the right amount of icing sugar to cover the whole cake. Okay, so if you want to get it to not look so dry and make it look more icy and more better, you can spoon some water over it, but be careful where you spoon it. Okay, and then spread it. So allow it to sit for a while and then your cake should be ready to eat. And here is what the finished product looks like, and there's still one piece of the full cake. I think the full cake is better because one, it wasn't cooked in a square tin, and two, it's got more of the ingredients and it looks more like a cake, but this one is still good. Hopefully you can use this recipe. Hopefully you have a better cake pan than I do. And yeah, so hopefully you'll know what you're doing, but there's just a few tips on how I bake a cake, I guess.